All right, so this is an annual tradition now. I think this is year 3 or 4. I don't quite remember.
Let's go with four. Let's say four.
Okay, sure. It's been a lot of fun talking to Matt Demers, another Ottawa-based movie guy, film critic. And what I love about talking to Matt is we're pals, and every time we meet, it's fun. And our tastes are, you see TV, and was it Watch Mojo? I see you on TMZ sometimes. And I'm
That's
on
right.
the
Oh,
festival circuit. So our like our lens into this game is a little different, and that's why it's fun to talk about what we think are the top 5 films of the year.
absolutely. Yeah. And my dog was saying, yes, you do see me on TMZ
Yeah.
and on Watch Mojo and on CTV Morning Live in Ottawa and CTV News Channel, 580 CFRA. So you see a lot of me, and I do apologize for that. But yes,
No.
one thing that you will notice, and this is kind of why I like talking with you too. So my picks, I tend to be more a little more mainstream in my picks. So
Yeah.
sometimes you come out with movies that I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. So I'm excited to hear what you got.
Heck yes, heck yes. Well, I hopefully I don't disappoint this year, but let's kick us off. What is your number 5 film of the year 2024, Matt Demers?
Okay, here we go. This might surprise people, but I saw this movie and I immediately thought, oh, this will probably end up on my year-end list. And lo and behold, it still does. And that movie is Challengers. You know what I'm
All
talking about?
right.
The tennis with
Yeah.
the
I didn't see
Zen.
it. Tell me about it.
Oh, you haven't seen
I
Challengers?
I didn't see it. I know. I should see it, but yeah, no.
So no, this is a movie that I thought I wouldn't like because it's kind of this love triangle story
Mhm.
mixed in with the sport of tennis. But there's so much going on. There's so much and I don't want to spoil anything about who ends up with who and what's happening and but it's got this really amazing score and it's got the finale is just I was literally, people say, oh, it's on the edge of my seat. This is a movie that actually had me on the edge of my seat. So if you haven't seen Challengers, I do, yeah, give it a shot because it's a movie that I thought I wouldn't like, and I was pleasantly surprised with, the chaos of it. It was a movie that it gave me anxiety in a good way. Um, and yeah, you kind of root for these characters, and again, no spoilers. The ending I thought was pretty brilliantly done. So yeah, that's my number five.
Excellent. Well, now I'm definitely going to prioritize giving it a watch. I did see Zendaya arrive at TIFF this year, and it was utter chaos. But my number 5 is, I cover these film festivals. One of them that I really enjoy covering virtually is the New York Asian Film Festival. So, when yeah, I interviewed their top cheese this year, and he was telling me you got to see this Filipino stoner comedy when this is all over. And I did, and I really enjoyed it. And it's a very offbeat film, very, very entertaining. And it's kind of structured like The Raid or Dante's Inferno because this guy is basically dealing drugs to people in the same building. And like the lower they are on the lower the floor they are on is generally their socioeconomic status. And they all seem, and the higher up, the richer they are, and they all seem to want to like chill out with this guy. His name is also just Guy or the guy. We never get his name. And yeah, so it's sort of like the raid, like they go up the building to get the drug dealer to the top, and Dante's Inferno is the different levels of hell, the descent. So in terms of like the levels, it doesn't all just go up a building, but there is a bit of that going on. Yeah, very, very fun to see a rewarding movie from like the Philippines or Thailand or Bhutan or Mongolia, because we there's a fair amount of good stuff from Japan or South Korea. We know that, or in China, Hong Kong. But I really love finding something really different, such as this film.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This is already out of the gate. I already got a movie on my list that I want to
Yeah.
check out.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Um, okay, so my next one
Mm.
here, it's a movie that hasn't been released theatrically wide yet, but I did get
Oh,
I did get an advanced look, and people have been anticipating it, and I will say it's warranted the excitement around the remake of Nosferatu. Uh,
Ooh,
yeah,
jeez, you saw Nosferatu.
I
I don't
did.
get scares like that.
Man, I got to see it. Yeah, I got to see the an advanced screen of Nosferatu, from Robert Eggers, and I'm a big fan of his work. Ever since The Witch,
You're right.
I was always like, "Ooh, this is." He got the atmosphere down pat, and he was kind of tailor made for this kind of remake. It's essentially, it's like Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula, but with Robert Eggers' touch. And I did enjoy the performances. I think what this movie does is it goes hard on the horror front. They don't they go there. Um, and it's got some interesting performances. Lily Rose Depp, she's almost doing this, she's almost like Reagan from The Exorcist at times. It was crazy. And then I forget the guy's name. He was also in The Crow, which
Bill
wasn't so great.
Skarsgård.
That's it. Yeah, so Skarsgård is our Olaf guy, and he's great. So if you didn't like The Crow, I know a lot of people didn't, the remake of The Crow, this kind of redeems him for me. This kind of redeems him. He's
Okay,
still in the good books for Nosferatu.
nice. Well, all I'll say is my friend Christopher Yun, who's a Hollywood film composer, he has rescored the original Nosferatu from the 20s. So
Ooh,
if you are enticed by what Matt is saying, also check out what my friend Christopher Young has accomplished. My number four and number three actually are Canadian films, but
oh,
we'll start with number four. It's a film I saw at Fantasia Fest, which I saw you at once last year for Talk to Me. But
that's
this
right.
one is Frankie Frico by Steven Kostanski. And I was expecting to really like this movie, but I'm actually not like I haven't been like really won over by Steven Kostanski. Like I really like Manborg, I really like Psycho Gorman, but there are always some maybe cosmetic issues that I hyperfixate on. Frankie Frico was one of these just sublime, uh, you know, unbelievably strange experiences. It's got sort of this Rick Moranis 90s yuppie loser vibe to it. And then these alien dwarfs come to be party animals with this guy to help him loosen up so his 10 out of 10 wife can look at him properly. It's pretty silly, it's pretty ridiculous, but I was really hooting and hollering during this movie. Got to show it to some friends as well, and we're certified Frankie Freakos.
I love this. I love this. Another movie that I didn't know about and will totally put on my list. And speaking of Rick Moranis, can we bring him back to Hollywood already? Like, what's the holdup here?
Yeah,
I miss that
absolutely.
miss that guy. Miss that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sticking kind of with the creep factor here with my next one.
Mhm.
I'm a big horror fan, by the way. This one I would classify more as a body horror, and you must have seen The Substance,
Yes, yes.
which I'm still thinking about constantly, and I feel like that's the key to a good movie for you is if you keep going back to it.
Mhm.
And then people keep saying things like, "Hey, did you notice this in The Substance?" So all like these nods to other horror movies, whether it's The Shining or a lot of Cronenberg, obviously in here. But yeah, this is a movie that took me on a ride, a wild ride, and you said you were hooting and hollering at that last movie. I was right there with the audience cheering the insanity of The Substance. By the end, things go completely off the rails in the best way possible. And yeah, it was just a well-made body horror, creep-tastic movie, and I thought the performances were camp-tastic.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to see this, get a lot of awards recognition, especially for the makeup and the craftsmanship that went into that. So
Oh yeah, I definitely think it's like a cult classic. People are really loving the substance, and I was there. I didn't have official accreditation at Cannes, but I was at the Cannes Film Festival this year, so people were buzzing about it then, and it was on my radar, and I got to see it at TIFF. I love the substance as well. My
sweet.
number three is another Canadian movie, as mentioned. It is Matt and Mara. It's by a very talented director from Toronto, Kazik
Yep.
Radwanski, and it stars Matt Johnson, who's also a director.
Yep.
I believe he did the Blackberry Show movie.
Love. Yeah, absolutely. Matt Johnson's a genius in my
Yeah.
book, anyways. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then Dara Campbell. And so it has like they played these this it's not exactly a couple, but like it's not exactly just friendship either. Two people who come back into each other's lives. And he has this kind of like Matt Johnson. When I see his face and when I watch his performances, I get this kind of like a Vice, like 2000s Vice vibe, like Vice News. I mean, just kind of this like very alt, like very like let's just mess stuff up just for fun, almost kind of like we're attacking the old and just replacing it with energy. I've definitely known many characters like that a lot of my life. I'm sure you have as well. And so I was charmed by his energy, but the dynamic of their relationship is really what's interesting to me, for me. Like, people like she's married, things are seemingly stable, but they aren't, and they aren't just friends, and there is gaslighting and a chemistry between them that is really enjoyable and subtle and I don't know, like if I'm not saying like Kasich Radwanski would approve of this labeling, but he is kind of like a Canadian John Cassavetes, I'll say, something like that. So yes, I was able to talk to the cinematographer of this movie. I didn't see it at TIFF, but I got a screener and loved it.
This is a wonderful pick that I am very familiar with. So yeah, absolutely glad to see that on your list. Love it. Love it. Okay, what are we at? We at number two?
You give me your number two. Yeah.
We're at number two in our countdown. Okay, here we go. Again, I'm the mainstream guy, so don't hate me. Don't hate
No,
the niche stuff.
stop. We love you, Ben. We love the difference.
But I mean, there's a Canadian connection here because the director is Denis Villeneuve,
There
and the
you
movie
go.
is Dune Part Two. I'm a big, yeah, I'm a big fan of these Dune movies. Just the
Yeah.
scope of it, and just how they can take something so rich, story-wise, and make it watchable, which is a feat in and of itself, but make it a kind of masterpiece. The way the cinematography in these movies is absolutely off the charts. And then when you add in the score and you add in that ensemble, it's just this immeasurable task, and they do it so well. And I love this movie, Dune Part Two. I love the stuff with Austin Butler. You know,
Yeah.
that big battle scene. That's just like a masterpiece. This is a movie you could take like I always say this for certain movies, you can just like kind of press pause at any scene and just take that picture and hang it on your wall. It's art. So yeah, that was Dune Part Two for me.
I love it. So I remember you were very excited for the first Dune,
Yes.
and I had seen it at TIFF, and I was negative. But I will tell you, I remember you said, "Don't say this to me," or something like that. You weren't up for hearing this, and then you ended up really liking Dune. But I actually enjoyed Dune too because I was going in a little salty, a little
Mm,
like jaded, let's say. It's like,
mm.
oh well, the first one wasn't exactly my cup of tea. I definitely prefer this to the first one, and I did really enjoy myself. So that's
Yeah, I
what
feel
I'll
like
say. Yeah,
Dune One, there's a lot to take, there's a lot to chew on, a lot to take in.
right.
Who's who, what's what. The world is all very different and strange. There's
All
a
the
lot to.
gobbledygook. Yeah.
So the second one, all that's out of the way, now it's time for the adventure. Now it's time for the story to play out. So I'm glad they broke it down into the two movies. Well, they probably could have done it in three. But yeah, I think it worked a lot better in Dune too.
Oh yeah, heck yes. And I'm looking forward to three for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they are doing a third. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really so like as I mentioned before with the substance, I was in Cannes and I sort of crashed the party. I was sort of Matt Johnson and Matt and Mara, sort of brought the alt energy. And I'm not the first one to do that. But
Yeah.
I did get some screeners. But my like international like cable to like plug in my laptop never seems to work. But it works for my phone. I'm always able to charge my phone. This happened to me in Berlin as well. For whatever reason, I didn't get a new international charger. Anyways, I saw 8 films all on my phone. So I did get canned screeners. And so one really stood out. It was All We Imagine as Light, which won the Grand Prix award, which is sort of the runner-up to the Palme d'Or. So it's like their number two movie this year. And I did see this on my cell phone. And as David Lynch says, you can't properly watch a movie on your cell phone. But I'm still putting it on my list regardless. Maybe I need to give it another watch. But I was it definitely washed over me. Like I said, like with Frankie Frico, I couldn't hyperfixate on anything. But this is a totally different experience. It's very sensual and romantic and beautiful to look at, poetic. Um, so yeah, and it's an Indian movie. It's an Indian movie that kind of reminds me of a Wong Kar-wai movie. So if you like a movie like In the Mood for Love or Days of Being Wild or The Chungking Express, sort of just like down and dirty rumble tumble love fest films. All imagine is like you really can't go wrong. And I think it's like really like the it's like either that or The Seed of the Sacred Fig that are probably going to win the
Yeah.
Oscar for Best International Picture. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love, I'm a big fan of that movie, and I think I think it says a lot that you loved it that much after watching it on your phone. Like, imagine seeing it on the bigger screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, movies can do that, right? If it's well done, you can watch it anywhere and get that
Heck
same
yes. And it's
effect.
kind of exciting. You're in Cannes, you got the Cannes screeners. It's kind of
Yeah,
exciting, even though it's on your
absolutely.
phone.
Okay, well, I think you teased maybe my number one, which is not that movie, but it is a winner of the Palme d'Or this year.
Ooh.
I love me Anora.
Ooh.
Anora. Sean Baker's Anora is my number one favorite movie of the year. I don't know, something about this movie that I just, again, kind of like The Substance, keep thinking back to it. But it was a movie that took me on a ride, an unexpected ride, that I just wanted to live in that world with those characters for as long as I could. So the first half of the movie, we're following this what is she, a sex worker? She's with this 21-year-old, son of a Russian oligarch, and it's this kind of fairy tale, right? The first half of the movie is sexy. It's a fairy tale. It's kind of funny. It's a wild ride. They get married, and then the second half of the movie, it's like a whole other movie, and it's this kind of like hilarious, anxiety riddled adventure to try to find the 21-year-old who's gone missing, and the parents are coming, and there's a whole other, emotional story at hand. And then at the end, it becomes this kind of emotional, sentimental experience that I felt it deeply. So yeah, this is my number one. Really enjoyed Nora, and it deserved that win. And I would love to see it take home some more golden trophies come award season.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I definitely liked Nora. A buddy of mine, when we saw it at the Bytown, said it reminded him that anxiety-inducing part you were talking about, half. It really reminded him of Uncut Gems,
Yes,
which I
yes,
thought was
another
a
one that I
really
love.
like
Yep.
interesting point. I can't like unhear that. Like when I watch it again because I really enjoyed it, I'm sure I'll be making the comparisons. And
Yeah.
I have a fun anecdotal story about Sean Baker. So I was getting a coffee in Cannes, and there was like a cafe on my block where my Airbnb was, and lo and behold, who's having a meeting? Sean Baker. And I'm sort of waiting to waiting for it to end so I can get like a picture with him or something. Anyways, it didn't end. It was going on for a long time. And then someone messaged me and I had to go. But anyways, I witnessed Sean Baker in a meeting and yeah, that I probably snooped into a little too long. But anyways, that's my Sean Baker story. And I love Red Rocket. For people who like that,
Yes, right.
definitely watch Red Rocket.
He makes really fun movies.
Yeah.
I think this is his best. I think this is absolutely
Oh,
his best one yet.
nice. All right. So my favorite film of the year premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival. But I learned about it when I watched it at TIFF. I actually had sort of mid expectations. I didn't really know anything about it, but I utterly loved it. It was called Dead Mail. It's a very strange film. It's got sort of like I don't know what they do with the filters with how they shot it, but it sort of looks like it's like a shot on video movie almost, but like a shot on video horror movie.
Yeah.
Those movies have their own like internal logic and they're really weird. And this one is very strange. It's about a guy who hyperfixates, is sort of has serial killer vibes, and learns about a man who is sort of riffing, sort of developing his own Japanese keyboard tech because it's like the late 80s, and this is what you do. And he knows it's nothing too special, but this is just what he wants to do. This is how he wants to make his name. And the serial killer guy has a lot of questions. Why would you do that? And it sounds so much better like on a regular piano. But oh, how do we do this? Oh, maybe I can help you out. And the other guy, goes sort of unwillingly into business partnership until he's just had enough and he splits. But then he gets kidnapped. And I just thought it was very funny and strange that such extreme lengths would go for some very, very cheesy and silly technology. So yeah, Dead
Amazing.
Mail. It like All We Imagine Is Light and Frankie Frico. I was blown away in the experience throughout the whole thing. My friend who I watched the film with loathed it, fell asleep, and people think I'm crazy for saying this is my favorite movie of TIFF and now of the year, but that's what it is. It's Dead Mail.
Amazing. I have yet to see it. I know exactly the movie you're talking about. I've heard about it. I've seen bits. It has, you're right about the look of it, has this great charm to it.
Yeah,
So it's moving up my list to the must watch
I
top.
love it. I love it.
Amazing. Do we do okay, before we go, do we do worst? I have
You do that.
oh,
I
you
don't do
don't
that,
do
but
it?
you do that. So you always prepare more
Okay,
than I do.
I'm gonna highlight three
Do
only
it.
because here's why. This is
Yeah.
my revenge because I have to watch them all. Okay, I
Yeah,
can't
you
pick
have to watch them all. What you do is different than what I do. So yeah, tell me what they are.
I can't pick and choose. I got to sit and I that's the
Yeah.
thing. I've never left a movie. I always have to sit through it.
Wow.
People are like, "Oh, you just no, I can't leave. What if the
Hmm.
ending redeems it? Never does." But okay, here we go. These are movies that I wish I could get my time back. And there's actually one that I'm curious your thoughts on because I want to say you probably would have seen it.
Okay.
Not the first one, but that would be I hope not anyways, from Madam Web.
Oh, I didn't see it though.
Universally reviled.
You're right.
And it deserves to be because this I don't know who wrote it. It's barely a movie. The story is like nonsensical, and they keep trying to do this with like these Spider-Man adjacent characters, but there's no Spider-Man in the movie, right? But the bad guy's got like a spider, like it's all very spider. It's just stop doing it. And then the acting's atrocious. It's just
Hmm.
okay. Skip some Madam Web. There's another one, a horror movie called Tarot
Oh yeah, yeah.
with the tarot cards, and
Right,
it's
right,
as
right. Yeah, I didn't
awful
see it. I had some friends who saw it though.
as awful as you think it is.
People would say it was terrible.
It really was. A good movie was not in the cards for
Uh,
Tarot. Just awful stuff. Because I'm a horror movie guy,
yeah.
and I love horror when they. We got some good ones this year. Smile 2, I thought was excellent. Long Legs. I mean, come on.
Long Legs was cool.
Yeah, Long Legs was very cool. So, but then we get this garbage like Tarot, which is like, and they put it in theaters. This isn't even like a direct to, on demand or something, right? Like it's
You kind of wonder how, huh?
yeah, absolutely. Okay, and here's the one that I think you saw.
Uh,
For me, I tried
yeah.
to like Megalopolis. I
I didn't
tried.
see it. I
You
didn't
didn't
see
see Megalopolis. Oh, I was
I
hoping to
know, I
get
know.
your take.
I'm going to eventually. I'm just waiting for it to stream. I just, it was one of those things everyone like painted and
Yeah.
and because everyone painted, it was just even though it sounds like it's its own experience, I couldn't pay for it.
It's a movie that, and I don't want you to not watch it
Yeah.
because I think it's, people should watch it because it's so interesting. It's just to me, nothing really worked. There's a lot of interesting themes. There's a lot of cool ideas. There's some interesting looking elements, right? It's all very kind of futuristic at times. The problem was, and this is what I realized, is that everybody in the movie, I'm talking the actors here,
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf, Adam Driver, everybody, John Voight, they all felt like they were doing a different movie. You know what I mean? Like Shia LaBeouf, I think he thought he was doing like a stage play, like from like Shakespearean times. Like he was doing and then you had Adam Driver who was just doing his Adam Driver dryness, that stuff.
Yeah.
And then oh, Aubrey Plaza.
Hmm.
I think she probably thought she was doing a straight up comedy. It was like slapstick but nothing worked, nothing
Hmm.
meshed. It was just, and then over long, and then there was some parts of the movie. It was like, why are we doing this? What is the point of this? There's a thing with the pop star in the middle that took up way too much time. So yeah, just a very disjointed viewing experience that I couldn't get behind. Let me just put it that way.
That's too bad. Are
Yeah.
there any other honorable mentions you have?
For the worst?
Or just maybe like a runner-up, like a number six, or
Oh, well, listen, again, going back to me being like a big mainstream guy, I love a movie experience, a movie that brings people
yeah.
together,
Hmm.
uh, and is well done for what it
Yeah.
is, like a commercial film. There's a couple this year that did that, and it's a great time. You still have time to watch Wicked in theaters if you're a
Okay.
musical fan. Even if you're not a musical fan, I thought it's just a well done, well made production.
Mhm.
The one that I enjoyed this year is as a just a great popcorn film that was great, crowd pleasing. Deadpool and Wolverine,
Okay.
the movie of the summer. Just a good time, just a good time. For superhero movies, all the cameos, all the fun.
Right, right, right.
Yes, it's fan service. Don't it doesn't get too deep, although there's a few scenes with Hugh Jackman. And I'm like, he's a great actor. So there you go. Those are two very mainstream movies that I enjoyed, and as well as getting the screener for Nosferatu, I also got the screener for an advanced look for uh, a complete un is that what it is? A complete unknown.
I've heard of that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the Timothy Chalamet movie where he's doing the Bob Dylan
Oh, wow. You saw that?
biopic. Yeah, so well done.
Yeah.
Chalamet is going to get nominated. He got nominated for the
Uh,
Golden Globe, so he'll get an Oscar nomination.
oh,
But
wow.
it's a well-made movie as well.
Nice.
So those are a few that have stood out.
Yeah, nice. Well, I would like to see that. I like Bob Dylan, and he's a very talented young. Well, I don't know how young he is now, but he's a very talented
It's
actor.
a Yeah, it's a
Oh,
cool
there's
story
one
too.
movie that. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it's a well-made movie. It's got the vibe, for Bob Dylan's. You listen to his music, it puts you in this kind of mind frame and gives you the movie recaptures that vibe throughout. Yeah,
How does it feel?
they should have subtitles sometimes for when he sings because it's fun.
Yeah. So I have one honorable shout out I want to make. So I was just looking at my list one more time while we were talking, and one that probably could have made the cut is Hitman by Richard Linklater.
Oh yes, that was
Yeah,
a fun. Yeah, that
I
was
really
great.
like that movie. It's very offbeat. It's very
Yeah,
very idiosyncratic, but I love the formula of the story. I basically break it down to it is the guy is a dork,
yeah,
and then he pretends to be killers,
yeah,
eventually finds the one that's Riz, and then he gets the girl.
yeah.
So dork plus cosplaying sexy killer equals guy gets girl.
And that was a movie that was way better than I thought it
Yeah.
had any right to be. You know what I mean?
Well,
I
no, I
thought,
don't. I love Richard Linklater. He's one of our best.
yeah, but when you read the synopsis, and it's great because yeah, Richard made it better and the actors made it better. But the
Yeah,
when you do the synopsis, it's like, okay, well, if it was in anyone else's hands, it probably
probably. But I
wouldn't have
trust
been
Richard
as.
Linklater most of the time.
No, he's great.
I got to talk
Um,
to him on the red carpet for this film.
oh,
I
really? For
a
this,
tip, yeah, yeah, yeah.
amazing.
So that wasn't this year. It was last year. Obviously, right? Because it
Yeah.
came over the summer. But we talked philosophy. We talked about waking life, and
Ooh.
we talked philosophy. And it was I hadn't seen the movie, so that was kind of where I was going for. And he was a you hear that voice, and I've heard it like in
Yeah.
a bazillion interviews. So I was really in a trance for sure. It was starstruck.
Did you see? There's a movie that just came to me, the one that I kind of liked more than I thought I would, and really pushed it out there for people to watch. And that was Strange Darling.
Ooh,
Did you ever see?
Strange Darling. I know the title.
Yes. So it's a
Have
horror.
you gotten the screener for Sorry, go ahead. Tell me about
No,
that.
no, no. I just want to say for Strange Darling, don't if you've never heard of this movie like I did before I watched it, don't look into it because the whole thing. And here's the thing: it's a movie told, and I think it's in 6 parts, but every part that they show changes everything that you thought you knew. It's a movie that always kept me on my toes, and it was like by the end I was like, whoa, I didn't see any of this coming. It was great. So even knowing that, you'll still go for the ride. It's great.
Nice. I really want to see Baby Girl, that Nicole Kidman movie, where it's like sort of
Yes,
it's a BDSM relationship with the younger man, and he
yes.
infantilizes her, and she is really into it, and he's really into it too. Because I love Eyes Wide Shut. That's one of my top three Stanley Kubrick movies, which would make me a lunatic to most Kubrick fans. But
No,
yeah,
and by the way, before we move on from
yeah,
Eyes
yeah,
Wide Shut,
yeah,
I
yeah.
always, and you can back me up, hopefully. I
Yeah.
always say that's a Christmas movie.
Eyes Wide Shut is a Christmas movie.
Yes. Okay, good. I say this to people, and they're like, that's not Christmas, because I recommend Christmas
Uh,
movies sometimes, and I'll throw out Eyes Wide Shut, and they give me this death stare, like, that is
it's
not,
controversial. Same with Die Hard, right?
they're alternative Christmas movies, but they're
Yes.
still
They're
Christmas
set
movies.
during Christmas time. That's all it takes to be a Christmas movie,
Yeah, it starts
in
at
my
this Christmas
opinion.
party. And then there's a scene where Cruz is walking in the streets of New York, and it's lit just with Christmas lights. It's great. Great stuff. Love
All
it.
right. Okay, amazing. Well, Matt, thank you so much for your time. It's always fun doing this with you. Do you have a final message? Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, no, listen, I just want to say that I always have a great time. I love chatting movies. And hey, if people want to share their picks with me, or their thoughts, or maybe movies that we didn't mention today, I would love to hear it. You can drop me a message. I'm on all the socials. It's on X, they call it now, Twitter,
Right.
what it used to be, but Instagram, all that good stuff. It's at Mr. Hollywood MD.
He's
So
got the
at
shades and the bubble gum.
there you go.
All right. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thanks so much.